So you ready to have fun today?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. And that's actually how Ellen Davenport starts the chapter on what we're talking about today, the third principle in her 5 Principles book. You know, now the fun begins, because this is where we get to have fun, learning to create our lives intentionally. And it's kind of the part that a lot of people are familiar with, even people who haven't even heard of unity or new thought. You know, they know this idea, and you hear it expressed in many different ways, like your thoughts create your reality, thoughts are things. When I see it, when I believe it, I'll see it, right? Change your thinking, change your life. Kind of those ideas, anything that that is akin to law of attraction. And a lot of people have seen The Secret, so they're familiar with this idea. Now, those are all really gross oversimplifications of a larger, deeper truth, which is that we are expressions of an infinite divine presence, an infinite divine one. And because we are that infinite creative mind expressing, we are a continuation in the creative process of the universe. So our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs are creative. Yeah, we do create our experience. You know, out of the field of infinite possibilities, we choose what to focus on. We choose what to focus on. And depending upon how much we're focusing, you know, if that focus is really sufficient, that will create an energy that attracts into our lives. Something that is, you know, correlates to that, responds to that. So, you know, most people don't really know this idea or really know how to work with the law, and so they live their lives by default. We want to do it intentionally, right? We want to learn to do it intentionally. And so, you know, here's the thing that a lot of people miss when we're talking about how thoughts are things, is that it's not really thoughts per se. It's where our thoughts take us. It's more a feeling tone that creates an energy or a vibration that attracts like energy. In fact, Ellen talks about it in the book. It's on page 64, if anybody has that. She says, in recent decades, we have learned that feeling has more to do with creating our experience than thought. It operates as a field of energy, and so do we. Imagine yourself as a tuning fork. Your feelings on any given moment set up a vibrational tone. The universe picks up the tone and hums along, amplifying your sound. So if you're vibrating with joy, you will experience more joy. If you're vibrating with misery, you will experience more misery. Your vibration is reinforced no matter what. So it's how our thoughts make us feel, right? And how much we let that get under our skin and move us and stay with us a while and carry us, which creates that vibration that attracts an experience, begins to attract an experience over time, you know, that reflects those feelings. And thank God that every little thing, I mean, imagine if everything we thought immediately manifested. Whoa, that'd be chaos. Imagine. I mean, hey, it would be kind of cool if you were thinking, I'm going to win the lottery today, or I'm going to meet my soulmate today. That'd be kind of cool. But not so cool if it was a fear thought. You know, if we were afraid we were going to fail, if we were afraid we're going to get into an accident, or get COVID and get really sick, you know, not so good. So thank God that it's not, the thoughts are, those momentary thoughts are running through our head, don't have much power. But if we focused on something for a period of time, say, let's just say I'm doing affirmative prayer, I want to focus on attracting a soulmate into my life, for instance, right? And if that idea, every time I thought about it, it made me happy. And I allowed that joy to fill me up, to bubble up within me, and to kind of carry my energy and uplift my vibration. And I did that on a consistent basis and did it for, a period of time on a consistent basis. And guess what? It's quite likely that I will attract an experience like that. And here's the other part of this, though. So provided I've done the deep work myself to know that I'm worthy of that committed, loving relationship, and done any healing, if that's appropriate, of anything so that I can show up fully in the relationship. And if so, then I've created something beautiful. Something beautiful. We have at our disposal a power to transform our lives and transform the world. If our premise is correct, that all form and experience has its origins in mind. Now think about that for a minute. Everything that we can see and touch and taste and experience in life originates in the creative mind, whether that's the infinite creative mind from which the universe flows, or it's our individual use of this one creative mind. We have the power to pull from this infinite potential what we truly desire and see it manifest in our lives. Ashe, ashe. Ooh, ashe, yeah. That's kind of amazing. It's quite a power that we have at our disposal. Excuse me for a moment. And it all begins with desire. So we want to be careful where that desire is coming from. Is it coming from the highest divine presence within us? Or is it maybe coming from the ego, an ego-based desire, which, can get us into a lot of trouble. We can manifest a lot of things that don't necessarily make us happy. So as we were talking about last week, we want to make sure the ego is in service of our inner spirit. That the ego's in service, not the other way around, of our inner spirit. So we want to cultivate a relationship and an ability to listen to our inner spirit. And listen to that voice and listen to that desire and feel our way into it. So next week we're going to be talking more about how to do that exactly. So stay with us next week. As Emily Cady, who is a fabulous writer, who was, a New Thought person who taught the Fillmores, and her book, Lessons in Truth, which is, in my mind, one of the best. She says, desire in the heart for anything is God's sure promise sent beforehand to indicate that it is yours already in the limitless realm of supply. It's yours already. So I think of it as like the universe knocking at the door of my consciousness, saying, here, let it in. This is yours. Accept it. This is already yours. You've been holding it for you. Accept it. Accept it. And so we want to accept it on every level of our being. Just really open up to the idea that it is indeed already ours, and accept it and vibrate with it and really do that on a consistent basis. And that good is now in process of blossoming in our lives. Right now, in process. Now, you may be thinking, well, that sounds, you can stand up there and say that, Victoria. This sounds so easy. It's not always, right? Yeah, and you know, if you've done affirmative prayer work or any of this kind of intentional creating work for any period of time and your good has not manifested, you know that maybe it's a little more than that. Just a little bit. And truly it is. So let's talk about a few of those things that we really need to pay attention to and address to make this all kind of work. So the first idea is that our goal is to focus exclusively on what it is we want. Now, most of us alternate between focusing on what we really want and focusing on the current lack of it in our lives, right? Ooh, you see how you're giving the universe mixed signals here? Yeah, and I know it's difficult, particularly when, you know, if you're, say, praying for healing and well-being, and, you know, you're trying to stay focused on thoughts of perfection and well-being, and you're in pain. You know, your body hurts. Or you're trying to stay focused on thoughts of infinite abundance and creditors are calling you. It's not so easy to stay focused exclusively on what it is you want. So I just wanted to put this, I want to mark this page because we're going to talk more about it next week, how to kind of overcome that. We're going to explore this, how to kind of deal with that and overcome that, because it's a big thing. All right, the second thing is that we must become aware of underlying opposing patterns. Underlying opposing patterns, underlying opposing beliefs, you know. So on the surface, we can say that we want to be healthy and wealthy and loved and joyous and peaceful, abundant beings, right? Yeah. We all want that, right? I mean, some version of it, whatever it looks like for you. But deep down, deep down, do you feel that you're really worthy of it? And sometimes, you know, whether it's because of our upbringing, our parents, or old religious guilt, or just the guilt from thinking, well, why should I have the fulfillment of my dreams when all these other people are suffering? Anybody relate? Yeah, I know. I've had to do a lot of work on this myself. And I've come a long way from, a real base of, dealing with worthiness issues. And issues of worthiness can be a real dream killer if you have experienced that before. So, here's the thing. So now that I have done a lot of work on this, and I'll tell you kind of how in a minute, I now know that even though I've made many mistakes and I have many flaws, I am still worthy of a joyous, fulfilling, love-filled, successful life. Not because I'm better than anyone else, but because I am an expression of the infinite divine one. And so are you. And so are all of you. So we all are. We're all that. And so this is the place we want to grow into. You know, we want to grow into this, and we can. We can align all levels of our being with a sense of worthiness by cultivating self-love, self-compassion, self-acceptance. That's why it's a big feature in my book, because I feel that's foundational. Self-love, self-compassion, self-acceptance. We also want to be aware of the underlying opposing beliefs. All right, so maybe I want to manifest an influx of more prosperity in my life, more abundance in my life. Okay, so I'm starting to work on that, doing affirmative prayer and all that. But deep down, maybe even unconscious, I have judgments about rich people. You know, like maybe I feel that some of them are selfish, greedy, where they make the money to begin with, corrupt. And I may not be aware of those thoughts, but, it's like down in there somewhere. So that for sure is going to repel any abundance that's trying to get to me. Or if, again, I am trying to attract my soulmate, committed, loving relationship, and I'm going about, doing that, aligning my energy and focusing and doing all of that. But deep down, there is this underlying feeling of fear of heartbreak, of maybe losing my autonomy, losing my individuality. That, again, you see, it's sending mixed signals to the universe. And so it's going to be difficult for that good to blossom in my experience. So it's all about awareness. We just want to become aware as possible, as much as possible, of these underlying things so that we can shift them. And so that we can affirm that, you know what, the universe is set up for our happiness. It's set up for our fulfillment. It's set up for our well-being. It is. And we can get to that place of really knowing that. And when we do, watch out. All kinds of good is going to flow all over for us. Okay, so the third thing is that the universe, as we talked about before, doesn't really respond to our words or our thoughts. It's really our vibration, right? As we talked about. This is a vibrational universe, right? So wherever we're vibrating, our energy, we want to check it out. Like several times during the day, just stop, take a breath, and say, where's my energy right now? Where is my energy? Is it like in worry? I'm worried about something that could happen, or I'm, judging someone else, or I'm judging myself, which can cause a lot of anxiety, Or is it in anger, frustration, because I'm obsessing on what's the wrong thing that somebody did or said, or what the government has done? So, that energy of anger and frustration. Where is my energy? We want to become as aware as possible of where we are vibrating throughout the day. And when we become aware of it, don't judge yourself, it's okay. Yeah, we're human, right? We're all get into those spaces. So just take a breath and go back to something that is easy for you to do, whatever is easiest for you. Gratitude is a really good one. So you want to just open to gratitude. Focus on all the blessings that are already in your life, big and small, all the blessings. And just allow that gratitude to expand within you and carry you into a higher vibration. Or maybe for you, it's the joy you feel by being of service to others. Maybe even just offering a kind word or deed, that joy that you feel. Maybe it's the peace that you feel by breathing into the present moment. Let's do that together right now. Breathe into this present moment. Feeling that peace in this moment. This is how we keep our vibration in alignment with the good that we want to manifest. So just kind of pay attention during the day. Take a moment and check in. And when you become aware of it, just do a little well, okay, what can I get to right now that's easiest for me to help shift that vibration? All right, so I want to spend a couple of minutes before we go about talking about the collective experience. So this is all about, creating our experience, and we know about creating our individual experience. What about the collective? What about those things that we either feel out of our control? Hurricanes, natural disasters, wars, the pandemic. Obviously we didn't create those things individually, and we didn't either create it collectively, intentionally, but we have created a vibrational atmosphere. A vibrational atmosphere. We're all connected on a deep level, all of us, and all the things that we have thought and we felt and we believe and we've experienced for centuries all goes into this collective. You can call it collective unconscious. It's also a vibration. It's a collective vibration. So we can either generate a vibration of joy, of hope, of love, of positivity, and just think about what that would create in our world. Or we could create a vibration of fear, dread, hatred, suspicion, which kind of seems to be the vibration that has been created over the past few years. And it is showing up as some pretty challenging situations. But we, each one of us, can consciously help to shift that collective vibration. And it has been done, and it has been proven that this can happen. So transcendental meditation communities have done many experiments, like the one that they've done several times, where a certain percentage of the population of a city meditates. When a certain percentage of the population meditates, the crime rate goes down. And that's been replicated. If you've heard of Lynn McTaggart and her intention experiment, she's got a lot of data that supports this idea. I mean, she has like thousands of people join these groups where they meditate and focus on a specific thing for a period of time, and it's amazing. The healings, the peace breaking out in places that were once war-torn. Some really amazing results that can happen in that. A really good movie to watch that features this idea is called The One Field, and it's the number one, The One Field. It's really, it's beautiful. It features her work, and you can kind of see it in action, and others as well. So together, we can shift this collective unconscious and change the vibrational atmosphere. And we do it every time we get together and rejoice and have fun, and celebrate life and dance and sing and hear good music and celebrate what we're grateful for. Every time we get together and meditate with other people, every time we get together in prayer groups, healing circles, you're probably doing some of this right now. You are, and just be conscious when you're doing that, when you're getting together with others and doing that, you're helping to lift the vibration, this heavy vibration. We all need to do our part in helping to make this shift so that we can experience in the world more peace, more love, more abundance for everyone, more joy.